I'm Kelvin Thompson. Over the decades, I've learned a few things about blended course design, teaching, and learning, and I'm going to share those through this series of brief topical video nuggets. Today's nugget is blended learning can be the best of both worlds. Blended learning can be the best of both worlds. We're going to stipulate in this nugget that blended learning refers broadly to the combination of in-person and online in the course modality context. And in that sense, it's been my experience that blended generally is best compared to other course modalities. It's really because you're combining the affordances of online, for instance, schedule flexibility for students, with the affordances of in-person, for instance, that sense of immediacy in the physical classroom context. In fact, there have been meta-analyses, notably those conducted by Barbara Means and her colleagues, that have found that blended brings, quote, additional learning time, instructional resources, and course elements that encourage interactions among learners, and that those affordances bring benefit to students. At my former institution, where I worked for 2.5 decades, the University of Central Florida, blended outperformed in-person exclusive and online exclusive modalities on about every institutional metric that we collected. For instance, success rates of students, withdrawal rates of students, student satisfaction rates. Blended course modalities outperformed in-person or online. It's just that blended learning courses have more variables. And as Means et al. Found, in the midst of that stew of variables, good things kind of happen. For instance, in a 2009 meta-analysis of Barbara Means and company, they said, quote, it was the combination of elements in the treatment condition, unquote, that brought about learning advantage. And by that, what they mean is blending together in-person and online brought about benefits. Just the combination of the in-person and online submodalities. But I want to be clear, just putting a label on a course, saying blended, doesn't make anything magical happen. It doesn't automatically bring good, but doing something thoughtful with in-person and online, bringing those submodalities together, brings some natural benefit, but then sharpening the pencil through intentional design of blended affordances makes even more benefit. There are many decisions about what happens in person, what happens online, and how they relate. So intentionality and clarity are key. But poor implementations can result in the worst of both worlds. Something to consider, a tool for thinking about blended learning in this nugget is what I think of as a big bucket consideration of blended learning or blended or hybrid learning. This is from Nicole Johnson, an important Canadian researcher, and this yellow rectangle at the center of this series of boxes next to this horizontal line gives the clear indication that while there's all manner of specific specialized approaches, recipes for blended or hybrid learning, as Nicole says here, it's the mix of online and in-person instruction that makes something blended, no matter what other specifications there might be. Now, in that kind of a situation, the specific characteristics that are bringing benefit can be muted. But recognizing that blended learning is a boundary object and embracing that big bucket or big tent inclusivity toward categorizing blended approaches allows us to share broad insights beyond our local contexts, which are some of the themes that Barbara Means and her colleagues in their meta-analysis series have picked up on. I will say what I've learned is that not every course, not every instructor should be online, but I haven't yet run across a course and or an instructor where blended learning couldn't be implemented successfully with a little bit of effort. I'd like to wrap up by leaving you with some read more about it, dig deeper kinds of resources, just 4 of them. 2 of them are by Barbara Means, their 2009 and 2013 meta-analyses. The first one was commissioned by the U.S. Department of Education when Means and company were with SRI, and that's where they first kind of identified this theme of blended being best, and then a few years later they did this follow-up meta-analysis of blended learning. Nicole Johnson's work, which I've referenced in the Tool for Thinking, is on here. And then finally, Why is Blended Best? A talk that I did for Northern Virginia Community College, NOVA, slides and audio recording at the link on the screen. That's it for this Blended Nugget segment. There's a lot more to unearth, so keep coming back and keep exploring on your own to make blended the best that it can be.